Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry, first off, this is Airsoft. Everything in here is Airsoft. There is no real replica. I mean, there are only replica toys. There are no real firearms in this video. But what I actually thought today could be quite interesting is this is my latest Double Eagle replica. Now, you may have seen me doing an unboxing video on it, kind of like an initial thoughts and testing video on it, and then actually doing a paint video on it, which is why it's ended up looking this awesome. But another thing that I actually have from Double Eagle, and actually the only other thing that I have with me in the US is this, which is their N4. And I was one of the first people to buy this. I kind of saw a couple of reviews on YouTube of people who were like, hey, there's this kind of very affordable MWS-based platform by this company, Double Eagle. This was kind of like the first I'd heard of them. And this was kind of like the one they came out with to start with, before the Ghetto Blaster, etc. And just saw tons and tons of just very, very, very good quality stuff on it. So I've had this for a while, but I've never actually used it as like one of my main replicas. It's always been like a backup gun or something that I've used occasionally. But if I'm going to a field, I would pick my MWS, or I would actually pick a whole load of other different things that I have. But I would always kind of keep this in the back as a backup. I did actually build it out. So you can kind of see here, I've got an O light on here with a switch. I have a sight mark, red dot sight on here. I've got a PTS Unity tactical riser. I've also done quite a bit to the internals. So I think changed out this charging handle for a real one. No, that may be an original charging handle actually on this one. I'm trying to think, the coloring's different on it. So I feel like I've done that and like changed it for a different one, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I've done an inner barrel. I've done a hop up bucking. I've done a Zet plate from BavTac. And I think that is about it. Other than that, it's pretty much stayed the same. But I thought, you know what? I've got this new one, and a lot of people will probably be thinking, if they're going to get a Double Eagle, what should I go for? Should I go for the stock N4, this stock N4, which is like their base normal one that you would get? Or should I look at the new version, which is this NSR-SD? It's got the kind of like SD suppressor in there. So the suppressor actually, if you want to look at this one, goes into the handrail up to about there. So it's a shorter inner barrel, but it does also have the advantage of kind of looking very cool, I think. And then the other advantage is that it actually comes out of the box with a tracer unit in it. And that's from eShooter. They obviously did some kind of like partner up with that so that they could kind of like do a suppressor with a tracer in it. And I have to say, I think it's a great idea. Like, if I've got a suppressor on an Airsoft replica, I am going to be putting a tracer in it 99% of the time. You could obviously run an extended inner barrel, which you could do with this if you wanted to, and get it longer. So, you know, it is a shorter barrel, but actually if you wanted to and you're going to change out the inner barrel, you don't have to do that. But you could definitely do that with this and then just kind of like keep it without a tracer in it. Even probably extend the barrel up to about here, or about here actually maybe, because the tracer unit's about this long. You can see it in the top there. And that's kind of where it is. It's actually under spring tension. So you can see that there. But for me, like I was like, I love eShooter's tracers. I actually would love to put a smoky tracer in here, which I presume I could do that. I would just need to maybe, I don't know if the dimensions are the same on this. I should check that out. In fact, do I have that here? This is not. This is the Smoky Wolf. So the Smoky Wolf is a thinner suppressor. Yeah, that's a thinner suppressor. I'll see if I have a, in fact, I do. Okay, so it is the same diameter as the eShooter Smoky Flare. So if you wanted to, you could run the Smoky Flare in there, but it is going to be pretty much on the edge of, like it's not going to stick out as far. It's going to literally have its kind of like ending. If I show you, that's where it's going to sit. Obviously, I've right now got this Manta suppressor cover on it, so I don't really want to take that off, but it would basically sit just outside the rail. and then you'd have these kind of flares there. It could actually look really cool, to be honest. So maybe that's something I'll end up doing, is doing like a Smoky Wolf on there. I would probably have to paint it like I've done with this one, just to make it look as kind of cool with that integrally suppressed kind of look on there. But my kind of initial thoughts on this before I got it was like, okay, I think it's going to weigh a lot more because, you know, it's got a fatter, chunkier rail on it. It's got a suppressor on it. And the other side, which I was kind of thinking about, was this, which is the rail. How chunky is this rail going to be? Because it's the same diameter the whole way through. It's not one of those kind of weird ones where it's like thin here and then flares at the end. Obviously, they're both Noveske kind of copies. So the actual bodies of them seem to be pretty similar and almost identical. And what I'm actually going to try and do in this is I'll try and switch out the lowers for you and just make sure that they work. But they both have pretty much, I'll give you a close-up because you guys like those, so maybe that will help a bit better. They're pretty much the same markings. So you can see here we've got, if I put the light on, Noveske N4. Turn this around. There we go. Okay, Noveske N4, Model N4, Noveske Rifle Works. It's all on the actual upper. It's got the same indents there as there are here. I can't tell any difference really with the lower that has got anything that's a change there. It's got the same kind of like Noveske marks that are on the actual little bolts. They're both single. They're not ambidextrous. You can see here, obviously there it's black. This is when it's not. But yeah, I can't tell any difference in terms of like the lower. The lower to me, I've obviously got a different handrail. I've got a different handguard on here. I've got a bad lever on this one. But other than that, they seem pretty much identical. So it is the upper, which I think is going to be the main difference. Although actually, is it the upper or is it just the, I think it's actually just the rail. Do it here for this one. I think it literally just is the rail, where you're just going to have this flared piece coming out, and then that rail is just going to be a lot thicker. So basically this part of the replica, like these half, like right here and right here, are going to basically be the same. If I can show you right down this way. This section here is going to be the same. Everything going forward is going to be different. The length of the rail is longer on this SD. So you've actually got like an extra, what, like 2 inches on the rail here. And then your actual, like with the muzzle device on there, you know, you're still going to be shorter. So it is a longer, it's a longer replica having that. There are some other differences which you may notice. Like I've actually switched this out. So I've got an angled QD mount here. I may actually just swap that straight over onto this one because I do like myself an angled QD mount at the back here. My thoughts are basically I'm kind of probably take this one, take all of the upgrades out of it and then drop them into this NSR-SD because I just prefer it in nearly every way. I have actually already, I took a buffer, weight, and spring that I had in this one, which was an aftermarket one, and I've switched them out. So I've gone back to the stock buffer and stock spring in here. They do come with different stocks, actually. I don't know. I can't remember which stock came on. I switched the stock out as well. So I've switched stocks, pistol grips on these. But to be honest, guys, like I have to say, if I was buying them again, I would go for this one, 100%. Like this rail is really nice and it is kind of like very easy to pick up and hold, but it's very thin. And I don't think I notice it when I'm like actually handling it normally. But now I've got this to compare to. With my hand size, I prefer the feel and the dimensions of this actual rail. You've got more space obviously coming along here to put different stuff on. You've actually got like angled M-locks here, although these may not actually be M-lock. They're kind of like a little bit fatter. So I'm not sure if you could actually mount stuff on that 2 and 4. You've also got a skeletonized top Picatinny here. And this thing is heavier. Like, it's a heavier replica, but it's not crazy, the difference. I wouldn't say, if I take the mag out of it, it probably helps. Like, the actual weight of them is very, very comparable. I also, like, I have to say, like, I got this one in black because I think they might be doing one in FDE, but at the moment I can't find that. This is the stock paint job on here, and the parts performance on it is great. The paint will scratch, and actually it shows that I haven't used it that much because I literally haven't got many scratches on it at all. But that is definitely going to be something that I would bear in mind, is that with this FDE, I'm not sure about the black, you will be able to scratch it quite easily. I think I don't really like, which is the same on both of them, is these silver barrels. That's like the Noveski kind of thing. I don't really like the silver barrels particularly. Hence now this one has now been sprayed and looks, I think, very, very cool. But what I'm going to do now, guys, is just do a kind of like a performance test. I think basically the internals are all going to be very similar, if not the same. Obviously, you've got the tracer unit, you've got different barrel lengths, but I think consistency-wise, they should be very similar. I have done some internal upgrades to this, but nothing in terms of the bolt. The bolt's still the stock bolt, and nothing in terms of, I'm trying to think what else I could have done. I've done like the trigger box, i.e. I've done the bolt hold back with the Z plate, but actually the trigger box itself is the same as it came. These triggers are really nice. They're kind of like a little bit light for me, but actually like there's very, very little take up, and the snap is there. It's the same trigger, it seems, for me on this one. Yeah, it's literally the same trigger there. So this is my experience with Double Eagle generally. Like, if you're just watching this video and you're like, hey, I just wanted to see them, should I buy a Double Eagle? Answer is basically going to be yes. I think Double Eagle are a very good company, or they seem to do very well. They also own Salvo Precision, which is another replica that I have had an experience with now. In the UK, I have the Rattler that Axios Custom built me. That one was fantastic. So again, not expensive, worked really well. I played 5 game days in 6 days with that thing, and it worked perfectly the entire time. So I would say like they definitely nailed their build quality really well, this company. But as I said, we'll look at the kind of performance now, but I think if it was me, I would go with the NSR-SD. Oh, price, that's probably another big thing to talk about. Price between the two of these. This, if you're buying it from like Hong Kong, i.e. not importing it and not buying it in places, is about $350. So very, very affordable for an MWS gas blowback platform. This guy, if you can't actually get them in the US right now, or I haven't found a place you can get them. But this is from the same retailers. I'm looking at Octagon here. You're getting this for $350, and then you're getting this for $400, and then you can get the Ghetto Blasters, so the small versions of those, for about $300. So there's about $50 difference. The big thing with this one, though, is you're getting more rail, you're getting a larger replica, and I like the style of it more, but you're also getting a tracer unit. Those tracer units are normally like $80, $100. So you're getting a tracer unit included. I've got some gas here, so we'll put some gas in it. You're getting a tracer unit included in that, which I think actually is a very, very good deal. You're not only getting a really good replica that's going to work with all MWS compatible parts, but you're then also getting a tracer unit, which you could pop out. You can use it in other stuff. So I think if it was me again, this is the most expensive. But for $50, you are getting quite a bit extra. Okay, let me just make sure we're firing here. This thing really clacks. I think it's because I've put this aftermarket bolt in there. The buffer weight. But this thing really is very, very fun to shoot. Let's compare that quickly to this one, so you guys can see how this is. As I said, this now has a lightweight buffer in it, so I'm not expecting this to be as heavy. Oh, Got a jam there. Have I got a BB? Ah, there's a BB in there. Okay. Okay, well, we've got a fault from that one there. Okay, we actually cracked a BB there, it looks like, in that process of doing that. So let's just hope that this isn't. And there it is gone again. So I'm actually having feeding issues with this. There's no BB in there. That again fed 2, and that is not, that's not sitting in. So this, for some reason, this is not feeding on this mag. Okay, that's in. Yeah, it's not feeding on this mag. It's kind of like half feeding, taking one up and then not. So that's taking another BB in there. No. Let me just see if this is going to work with another MWS mag that I have. Let's take, that's a VFC mag. That's a VFC mag. This is an MWS mag. Okay, so that's getting bolt lock there, and that's firing. Okay, that's very, very strange. So it's almost like this is the mag that came with this N4 NSR-SD, and I don't know why, but that one's just not working. So it shouldn't be an issue really with this. Sorry, I've got someone cleaning outside the door. It shouldn't be an issue with this, I don't think. But yeah, it's having an issue just picking up the BB from this actual mag. Whereas this Guns Modify, that's getting, yeah, that one's firing fine. So let's try and actually just, yeah, no, not working. Let me try and see if I can just put that BB in there. No, we'll get that out. Okay, yeah, so guys, this is very, very strange. So maybe I'll run one of these, which is this Noveske N4, on this mag, which is my Guns Modify. And I'll fill this up so we can see and make sure that the other one's working fine with that. Sorry, now you can hear the cleaners cleaning right outside the door as well. Charlie's like, what's going on? Sitting there, my guard dog. So I've got this one here. I'm using this double tap screen as well, which I'm really, really loving. It's just a great. Okay, so this one we've got some. No, I thought that was gas leakage. That was just the Hoover outside. So that's done, and this is done. Let's just make sure that this NSR-SD, that's one thing that is really annoying, is the name of it. Let's make sure this is working with the Guns Modify. Yeah, that one's working fine with the Guns Modify. It's working fine. So maybe the thing of the story is don't buy these mags. I have to say the other mag that I got with this was, for this one, it was in tan, and it started leaking very, very quickly. So maybe just don't do those mags, do the Guns Modify mags, or just get the TM stock ones. Okay, I'm going to do a little test on FPS. So we've got 0.25 gram BBs in this. So I'll give you an idea of what the joule rating is here. Probably helps to put a magazine in there first. I'll do it with the stock magazine first. So we're at 367 FPS, 1.57 joules, 1.64 joules, so 375 again. 162 joules, 373, 377, 367, 369. So super, super consistent on this mag. And we're looking at just under 1.6 joules there at the end. If we're doing it with the Guns Modify mag, this is 1.12. Okay, that's at 341, 339, 338, 348, 342. Okay, so not quite as consistent with the Guns Modify mag, and it's firing a lot lighter. And those mags generally fire pretty powerful. So this mag right here is firing really pretty hot. It's like an extra 20, 30 FPS on there and an extra like 0.3 of a joule, 0.25, 0.3 of a joule. So that's quite significant. But generally you can see there, like the consistency was pretty good. That first one went in at 310. I don't know why that was. Might have just been that first round of that mag. This guy, we have no BB in here, so I'm gonna do that, and we will go with, this is the Guns Modify mag, because we don't think it's working on the other one. So that's 342, and that just vented all the gas. So I may have just double fed that, which is why. Let's have a check, and let's do this. Anyway, after all my aftermarket upgrades, it seems like on this other one, and actually just maybe not having used it for a while, like it's kind of been sat in the cupboard for a long time. It's definitely not working as well as the new one is, which is hence why I'll probably repair this up and then give it away. Right, I'm just going to double check that we've got this in here. Nope, this thing is not liking it at all. So again, it's having the same feed issue. So I think this is an issue with maybe the bolt. It's with the nozzle just picking up what's in there. What we could do actually is just switch over the bolt carrier group, and we'll see if that affects it. I'm going to put both of these guys here. Charlie. Okay. Okay, so this is, actually I've got a weight on this bolt, which is another thing, which might actually be affecting it. Now I'm looking at this bolt's quite a bit heavier, and it's because I've got this aftermarket weight on it, and actually they are different nozzles. Did I do an aftermarket bolt on this one? This nozzle's very cold already. Okay, so you can see there, they are different nozzles. Like I've got an actual like a taker on this one, which is going to pick up the BB. I don't think that's snapped off, although that would explain the issue with like feeding. Let me put this inside here and see what happens there. So now we've got the actual bolt carrier group from the NSR-SD in here. Yeah, okay, so that's working great now. So I think it is that issue. So that's 292, 283, 286, 279. So it's firing a lot lighter on that one. Is it going to work with this? Yeah. 344, 345, 341, 335. So this mag is just firing a lot hotter than the Guns Modify one. And that could be this Guns Modify mag for whatever reason. It's just not firing in the same way, but that's definitely a big change. Is I don't remember these being super hot before. But I think that's going to be what the issue is there, is the bolt or the aftermarket bolt with this weight on it that I've got here, and not having that feeding nozzle is the one, it's what's causing the issue. So I think when you buy it new, you're not going to have those same issues, and it's probably going to perform exactly the same. I don't think it makes a huge, should I change out the upper and the lower just for you guys? Yeah, let's do it, just because then you guys will be happier if I show you that it will work. Okay, so we'll go with removing the lower from here. But if it's the stock bolt, don't mess around with it. That's going to be my tip of the video. Just leave the stock bolt alone. Because I've definitely, I think, messed around with that one, and that's probably caused the issue there with the feeding on that. just get something to push this bolt with. This is where my paint's made it more snug. There we go. Okay. So I'll take the lower off this, and then I'll keep this upper together just because we've got that bolt in there. And that's the one that's working. And then, but I will have to get a new bolt and sort this one out for sure. But this is why we do the videos. It's good to find out that this bit's not working. Okay, so I'm going to take this lower and we're going to put it onto that. It's working perfectly. That is working fine. So now that is what this looks like. It looks very funky. We have a BB in there. So I'm going to take this stock mag and yeah, so that's working perfect. That's basically exactly the same, like lower. It doesn't look any different when it's attached in. You can change them out as you want. So all you're really paying for with that extra $50 is this rail and then the suppressor with that tracer unit in there. But I think it's, for me, it's worthwhile. I really, really like this rail. I think this rail feels just very, very good. It's kind of like how the Spear LT rail feels. You know, it's just like snug and kind of nice and like ergonomic in the hand. The angles on it are just very, very comfortable. You know, like when you're actually gripping it, it just feels really, really good. Okay, guys, so that's going to be my video just to kind of give you a little comparison and show it out. Didn't really work very well, obviously, because one of the bolts isn't working particularly. But takeaways from this, don't mess with the bolt. These mags, the mags that are coming with the double Eagles are very, very powerful. So just be careful when you're playing with them, that you're not going from one mag to another and then massively overshooting in terms of power. But consistency on that was really, really good. I'm now going to put this back together and kind of like make it look all cool again. But thank you very much for being here and for watching, and I will see you very soon on the next video. Goodbye.